Hello. Welcome to episode number 18 of the Apostate Alliance. My co-host, Faye the Most Gracious, Faye Rahman, will not be with us today. She is feeling a little under the weather. But I do want to, before we move forward, I want to thank, gosh sakes, now his name escapes me. That one of our fans made us that starting soon screen. And I've actually been under the weather myself for the past couple of weeks, and I think it's affecting my mind because I just remember his name before we went live, and now I can't think of it. But you know who you are. Maybe Nakasuchi will message me in the live chat and give a shout out to whoever that gentleman is whose name escapes me right now, who made that lovely starting screen you just saw. I am joined today by Cemal Knudsen Yucel. And he is part of the organization Ex-Muslims of Norway. He is also one of the organizations that is responsible for yesterday being the International Apostasy, the first ever International Apostasy Day. And we want to talk about that for a few moments before we move on. And yes, the gentleman who made our starting soon screen without any prompting from us, wonderful man, Geo Sam. Thank you so much, Sam. But the International Apostasy Day, the first one was yesterday, and it's a very important thing because, as you may remember, we talked last week about how there's over a dozen countries in the world where if you are an apostate, be it an atheist, a former Muslim who is an atheist, or a former Muslim who left Islam to adhere to another religion, you can be executed for being an apostate. And I know for people in westernized countries, that may sound like hyperbole, but it is absolutely not hyperbole. It is the fact of the matter. You can be killed by the state. Citizens in these Muslim countries, even the ones that don't have it as a law, some Muslims will take it of their own accord to kill you if you're an apostate. But before we do that, I want to throw it over to Cemal and let him, speak about the first ever International Apostasy Day that took place yesterday.
Hello, John. First of all, thank you for having me, and I hope Faye will get well soon too.
Yes.
And yes, we had an world's first Apostasy Day yesterday. We are one of the organization with the ex-Muslims, International Ex-Muslim Coalition, which is created this day. And this day is very important, and I see a lot of people, a lot of ex-Muslims and non-ex-Muslims responded with hashtags and a picture with A in hand. So it is very good and very important day, this because I believe still many people are ignorant in the West, especially what's going on in the Muslim countries in all these years. In every Muslim country, there is some people have been killed either by state or by Islamists because of they left Islam, or they are atheist, or they insult. They say they insult Muhammad or Quran. They did blasphemy. So we are living in 2020, and still it is going. All these things is happening. Like we see not long ago, one American citizen, Pakistani origin, have been shot and killed in the courtroom in Pakistan, where he accused to make blasphemy. So, and now the guy who killed him, he's a hero for many Pakistani people, Muslim people. And even police taking picture with this guy and very proud of him because he did the job. And like these examples we have in almost every Muslim country, even in the moderate countries like Turkey. It's happened a lot of this type of killings, and people getting prison sentences because of only Twitter. You know, they are writing in Twitter something, and somebody accusing them to make blasphemy. In Turkey, a lot of people, just because of, for example, one guy wrote it on Twitter. One old poet, you know, old poet, many 1,000-year-old poet, saying, do you think you will get 72 virgins? And do you think heaven is a bordel, you know, a whore house? Like these things. For example, he get 1 year prison. One woman who take a picture where she had her shoes on Quran. Only for this picture on Twitter, she get more than 1 prison. Turkey, in moderate, so-called moderate country. So we have to normalize acceptance of living Islam and acceptance of criticizing Islam. It will say apostasy and blasphemy. This is our first goal. And every ex-Muslim organization have one common goal, and this is normalizing acceptance of apostasy and blasphemy. So this is Apostasy Day is one of the thing we are doing to normalize, because it's a normal thing in the Muslim communities and Muslim countries. It's a big taboo and crime.
Right, and in the Western countries, like, we don't see that stuff in the news. We have to go find it online and, you know, get it from places like Twitter and other social media, because, you know, I would never be able to turn on like the nightly news here in the United States and they're going to be telling us about, you know, some unfortunate apostate that was murdered in Pakistan. You know, it just doesn't happen, and that's why we have to, you know, continue to get the word out. I mean, it was wonderful to have that International Apostasy Day yesterday, but the job doesn't end there. You know, everybody, I urge you, non-religious and religious alike, to seek out this information online and see, you know, what Cemal was talking about, that many people are losing their lives for being apostates. And you could add to that many people in these Pakistan or in these Islamic countries are losing their lives for being gay as well. You know, there was this.
You know, John, what we are reading in the newspapers or watching on TV in the West is about apostasy and blasphemy in Islam and crimes. This is just only the top of iceberg. You know, many things we are not hearing even. It's happening a lot of murdering and killings in these countries. For example, like Iran and Saudi Arabia, so close. It's closed country. You don't know anything inside what's happening. There is a lot of killings happening. The other countries, apostasy crimes and apostasy killings, just they showing like one criminal episode. Like, they don't mention even what is the background of these killings. You know, there is a lot of, and we are trying to make one big list of all victims of apostasy and blasphemy in Islam. Ex-Muslims of North America is doing a good job, and they have the list, and we are just sending in from every country, ex-Muslims from every country, sending in names and dates, when it's happened, how it's happened. So we will come with this, I believe, in the future.
Yeah, and I would imagine that there's a lot of people that have you know, been victims of that type of stuff that we may never know about, you know, because of the fact that citizens take it upon themselves, and you have honor killings within families. You know, I'm sure that there's people that disappear and we'll never know, you know, what happened.
Yeah. Like one example, you know, how many people know that happened in Germany? I think in Berlin, one refugee guy who didn't fast in Ramadan. He smoked on the street, and he had been killed by 2 other refugees from Syria because he didn't fast. How many people know about that? And in same things happened about the fasting during Ramadan, even in the refugee camp in Greece. 4 or 5 people have been killed because they didn't fast during Ramadan. This is just one small example of what's happening even in the refugee camps, So intolerance we are fighting against. This is big, because if Islam existing today only because of strict blasphemy and apostasy law of Islam. Without this law, Islam is finished.
Well, and yeah, I can imagine that there's many other atheists in the Islamic world who will not identify themselves as such. There's probably a lot of closeted apostates. I mean, there's closeted atheists even in Western countries because they don't want to suffer the ramifications of being shunned by their family or being looked badly upon. But if you're in a country where you can die if they find out you're an atheist, I can just imagine that there's many in the Islamic world that are actually atheists, but they won't let that information out.
I can give you one tips, like, if you hear some people in the Muslim countries calling or identify themselves as secular, like I'm secular, you have to believe these people are atheist, or they are not believing. They are not Muslim, really. Right. In Turkey, for example, a lot of people calling themselves like laik. We say laik. This means secular or laicite people. These are actually atheists and non-Muslims, but they cannot call themselves in public and identify themselves like, I don't believe Allah or something like that. So there is a lot of people. Also, we have a lot of Muslims, like they don't really believe Islam, but mentally, they have been brainwashed a lot from the childhood. They don't practice anything, but they don't. In the same time, they don't want to use their critical thinking and think and ask questions about Islam. No, they don't care. They live a life like an atheist, like an non-Muslim, but they identify themselves still Muslim. And there is like, we have a lot of like these people. They believe, they are Muslim because they're born in a Muslim family, and they don't care question about is God existing, or is Muhammad a real prophet or something. They don't bother themselves about these things. They are a potential ex-Muslims who will stand out in public in the future, I believe. Even I have in my family many this kind of people. They do everything, even what Islam forbidden, but they still believe that they are Muslim. This is coming from, I think, because of, they know in Islam that as long as you believe Allah, that you don't worship other than Allah, whatever you do in this world, when you die, you will burn in hell. Yes, Muslims too. But Muslims who believe Allah will go to the heaven in any case later. They will taken out from the hellfire. So they know the alternative. Okay, I believe Allah. I don't need to practice. I don't do anything. But because this stupid thing, belief we have been indoctrinated with. So I believe this is one of the reasons why we have a lot of Muslims with only in the name. They are defending Islam even because they identify themselves as Muslim, but they don't do anything about what Islam says. Well, we call them moderate Muslims.
Well, and I know what you mean too, because I even know ex-Muslims that are out about it. They're honest about the fact that they are atheists, but it's still in some ways they identify as Muslim because it's a cultural thing.
I'm against that. I know what you mean, and they say even in Norway we have a lot of Muslims. They're not Muslim, but they call themselves like cultural Muslim. But this is not a good thing, because they are stopping the development of age of enlightenment in Islam.
Right.
You know, this is like because many Westerners think, oh, look here, we have Muslims, very modern. Oh, they are secular and they are moderate, integrated. They are like us. Everything is super. But in behind that, this people is not Muslim actually. You know the truth that they just say cultural Muslim. Cultural Muslim is not a Muslim. You know, if you say you are which culture we are talking about. I mean, when I ask them what's mean with cultural Muslim, like during fasting during Ramadan, no, they don't fast, but they eat in the evening with family. Of course you do that. It's not with culture. You eat with your family.
Yeah, right.
You know, it is. They are not brave enough. I believe the reason behind that, these people who in the West, especially, who call themselves cultural Muslim, they are not brave enough to stand out like, I'm finished with Islam. But in the Muslim world, I can understand everyone who call themselves secular Muslim, cultural Muslim, or whatever, moderate. I understand them, I respect them. But in the West, if somebody calls themselves, I'm cultural Muslim or secular Muslim, I have no respect to these people. Honestly.
Well, and I can respect that opinion because, you know, like Muslim is not a nationality. You know, It's Muslim, it's a religion, you know. And like when you talk about here in America and other westernized countries, I've never heard anybody identify themselves as a cultural Christian, you know. So, right. I mean, cultural Muslim, like you say, if they're in a Muslim country where they can suffer horrible repercussions, it makes sense maybe to identify like that. But I see what you're saying. You know, if you're in a free nation like the United States, you should just say it plainly what you are, that you don't believe anymore. And that would maybe help spread that idea, you know, around the world more.
And this is the reason why we ex-Muslims are in public and establishing organization, because we want to give courage to people that, hey, look, we are here and you are not alone. We will help you. Stand up. You know, this is the only solution to normalize acceptance of living Islam and criticizing Islam. And we call ourselves ex-Muslim because we want to point out that there is a huge problem to be an ex-Muslim. This is the only reason. Some people doesn't understand, and they say, why you are calling yourself ex-Muslim? You are not. If you are not Muslim anymore, why you are calling yourself ex-Muslim? So easy, my friend, because look at what's happening in Islam and in the Muslim countries. It is not normal to be an ex-Muslim. So we calling ourselves, we stand out in public to make less dangerous to be an ex-Muslim. Because you know why? Before, for example, like 30, 40 years ago, it was only a few individuals, writers, were ex-Muslim, and they were in public. And they were all the time a target for radical Muslims or Islamists because they were a few. But when I'm in Norway, we are in Norway, other in Canada, other in France, other in Germany, and they are in public, they are writing books, they are making videos, they are out. And they say, I'm here, I'm an ex-Muslim. People making picture with hands, I'm apostate. This help us to that so Islamists cannot focus only a few targets. Then there are a lot of people. Then nobody is target. Nobody will become a target.
Herd immunity, you know, and there's actually a term for that: herd immunity. You know, if there's so many ex-Muslims that they can't kill all of them. You know what I mean? So maybe they go after none of them. You know,
because Muslims, many Muslims doesn't believe that it is possible to live Islam. How people can live Islam? They are just paid by Israel and Jewish or America is standing back these individuals. They believe like this. But when we are suddenly coming, a lot of people, even non-knowing people on internet, on Twitter, you see suddenly one girl just writes it apostate. Then, this will help. And then they will understand one day, actually, there are a lot of people. So we cannot kill just one and quit with all other. So this is the strategy, our strategy to normalize.
Well, and I've since I've made some ex-Muslim friends and have been educated as to the horrible things that happen to apostates in other countries. I've talked to Christian atheists and said, look, this is not just a problem of the Eastern world. It's a problem of the world. Okay, and we have to, even though we're not subject to those types of repercussions, we could be. Okay, now we have a crazy man as president right now that a lot of very religious people follow, and people say, "Oh, it couldn't happen here." But I'll tell you what.
Excuse me, I just want to. But a lot of religious Muslim people supporting other side. What do you think about that? A lot of religious Christian people supporting Trump, right?
Right. Yeah.
But a lot of Muslim religious people supporting other side, right?
Right. I mean, the point I was trying to make is like, for people in this country and in Britain and other westernized countries, is they can't just say to themselves, well, that's a problem over there, I don't have to worry about it. Okay, because if we don't stop what's going on in the Islamic countries to apostates, who knows? I mean, the religious people in this country could take hold, and next thing you know, there'll be like religious laws in this country too. And I also wanted to point out, I think I mentioned to you before the stream, it's not just atheists that should be concerned about this. People of faith should let their voices be heard about this, because there's many people of faith in all religions that don't believe that this is right. And the fact of the matter is that in these Islamic countries, it's not just if you are an atheist, but if you are an apostate who left Islam and became a Christian or became a Jew or any other religion, then you are subject to being killed as well. So I urge everybody.
Anywhere and in any time, and whichever religion have power, and if they are strong and big, they will oppress others. This is in all history we are seeing. So today, the most dangerous religion for me is Islam. Not because of I was a Muslim, but today, I don't mean the other religions are not dangerous. They are too. But some religions are more dangerous than others in different times. And today is Islam, and we can prove that.
Right.
So if I'm an atheist, and I believe all religions are a disease. Really, one kind of, and I hope they will forgive me for this word, but this is not bad word, because I'm talking about ideology. This is a disease, and this is affecting people in different level. Somebody is affected by this virus little, other more, other much more. And this is we see in how in one religion there is different kind of Muslims or different kind of Christians.
Right.
So how we can fight against a disease like cholera. Cholera is coming from mosquitoes. But if we will fight against one mosquito, we cannot be finished with cholera. You have to go and find the sources where mosquitoes bringing the virus, and we have to attack and fight against these sources. So what we are doing in Islam, we are attacking the sources of Islam. Quran, Hadith, and biography. We are we're giving information to Muslims. Hey, look here, you don't know what your prophet did. Look here what your God says. Because a lot of Muslims are ignorant over their religion. So, but when we are doing that, somebody call us, especially in the West, haters, Muslim haters. They call us Islamophobes. They call us even racist. These things are very bad, and I think because of many Christian people or non-Christian or especially atheist people, and who belongs to the left wings in the West, they actually betraying ex-Muslim organizations. I can say that because of, I in Norway we are attacked by especially left wings, and even it's hurting me a lot by atheist people, and they call us haters, and they cannot bring any argument, anything, and show us this is here. You say this, or you publish this. This is hatred against Muslims. Nothing. They're just labeling us with these things, and this made me really angry. Now I maybe jump to another point or topic, but
No,
I get angry fast when politics come inside. Something's happening to me, because really I believe in the West we have a lot of challenges. We who left Islam and fighting for freedom, fighting for making people free from dogmas. When we being accused to be hater, racist, or Islamophobe, this is too much. Because I thought that in these Western countries where they fight against Christianity in last 400 years, they are insulting and mockery, satirizing Christian elements and the actions of Christian people everywhere. And it's a good thing, and I support and I do the same thing. But when it comes to Islam, no, then we have to be careful with everything. No,
well, and just to comment
on, Western politics hypocrisy, and like me, I can call myself a Middle Eastern leftist, but in the West, I can't find myself in the left. I don't say I'm in the right, but I cannot find myself in the left, because they are supporting one kind of Islamization, and they are fighting against Christianity. Great, good, fine, but in the same time they are collaborating with imams, mullahs in the other side, and then they accuse the other side to be with the Christian. I don't know. So this is politics. Is making me just.
Well, right, and then if you try and translate politics cross culture, that even becomes more confusing. And I just want to say too that, like, one thing that I have been very much respected, the more ex-Muslims that I do meet online, is that you talk about being called a bigot or a Islamophobe and all that, which I find in the social media world that mostly happens because somebody disagrees with some Muslim or Islamic point, and then you get called an Islamophobe. But what I've experienced is that ex-Muslims are some of the first people to speak up on social media if Muslims are being persecuted or prejudiced against. It was some ex-Muslims that just recently were talking about, trying to get the government in Britain to sanction China for their treatment of the Uyghur Muslims that have been put in detention camps and what they call re-education camps. Like I've heard many of my ex-Muslims friends say, it's not the people that we're against, it's the ideas, the bad ideas,
Right. And John, all our family are Muslim. My whole family, only me and my brother, like almost atheist. Between them, all my family are Muslims and practicing Muslims, real practicing and going Mecca, praying 5 times a day. Do you think I hate them?
Right.
How it's possible? And I saw in comment section Rishwin saying, Cemal, it is malaria, not cholera. Sorry, it was a malaria. When I gave the example of mosquitoes.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It's not cholera, it's malaria.
Right. Yeah, I have to admit too, when you said that, I was going to be going and looking up online after the show.
Sorry, I excuse my English and I don't know, but it's no problem. It's whatever. Some kind of virus. We can make example to other things too. No problem.
Yeah. And that's Godless Granny. That's a real friend of the channel here, and she has a channel herself that people should go check out, Godless Granny on YouTube.
Yeah, she's
so again, this whole discussion came out of the fact yesterday, International Apostasy Day, and we urge everybody to look into these stories online. You're not going to get it from the mainstream news, but there's plenty of information online. There are organizations that you can help out that help people in bad situations. Just recently, the ex-Muslim community on Twitter there, they got a young lady out of a country that was in danger because people had found out that she was gay. There's plenty of stories out there if you just go looking for them online. You're not going to see it on the ABC or CBS News. I'll tell you that right now.
And John, I have to just remind that people that they can go to. I can send you a link. They can go inside and sign as organization or individuals to support campaign of apostasy. And I just want to mention behind the 22nd August. This is chosen as Apostasy Day because it is the UN Day. Commemorating the victims of acts of violence based on religion or belief this day. But in the same time, many people doesn't know. In Iran, in 1988, this day, 22 August, is the start of a wave of mass execution of apostates. Many people don't know that, but many thousand people have been executed in 22 August in 1988, and the judge asked them, "Are you a Muslim? Do you believe in Allah? Is the Holy Quran the word of Allah? Do you accept the Holy Muhammad to be the seal of the Prophet? Do you fast during Ramadan? Do you pray and read the Holy Quran?" Or something like that questions. And if people responded negatively to these questions, they have been executed.
That's insane. I mean, and I became involved in this. Like I said, when I met some ex-Muslims online over a year ago, and just I'm still flabbergasted to this day. As I learn more and more about the horrible atrocities that befall people in some of these countries. Please seek out information about this. It's not just the one day that was yesterday. This is an ongoing problem, and we need everybody's help, religious, the irreligious, and the religious alike, because I know a lot of adherents to different religions around the world don't want to see anybody get killed, don't want to see anybody thrown in jail for life, just for what they believe. And much like yourself, I have said many times during streams I've taken a part on, whether it be this show or other people's content, that just like you, my whole family, they believe in God. They're Christians, and I only encounter atheists in the online world, on social media. So if somebody wants to say things like, "Well, if you believe in God, you're mentally ill," or people that believe in God or this, that, or the other thing, I'm the first one to say, "Hey, no," because you're talking about my family when you say that. I love my family. We just happen to disagree on the subject of God. But for like you said about your family, I can't hate my family. I mean, so it's not the people that we're hating on, it's the bad ideas. We want all the bad ideas to go away, and we want the extremist ends of these religions to go away.
But John, let us talk a little bit about exactly that point. I want to just understand, because you are from United States and you are an atheist and you have Christian background, and I have Muslim background, and I was born and raised in a conservative Muslim family in Turkey. So when I look, how in Islam my family and all other people, how they are affected by one idea. Even they haven't read in Arabic what's writing in Quran. They have never read in Quran, many of my family people, and they don't know even the story of Muhammad. But they believe still 100% everything what imams say or what they believe that Islam is. And when I explain them and show them things that Muhammad did, that look at here, God is contradicting himself in Quran. It's like this thing. They still believe, and they still say, no, then you have something's wrong with that. This have to be right if Allah said. So what I will say is, it something's really many hundred years of indoctrination making some psychological effect, or what is the problem? It's not easy to convince any my family Muslim people, convince them that here is wrong things, and this cannot be the creator of universe.
Right.
But what I will say, sometimes when I use that it is something with psychological effects of religion, this is true, because I had too. I believe it everything in Islam blindly. Before, critics of Islam forced me to go in my scriptures to find answer to them. Then I realized that they say it right and they didn't lie it, actually. So it is something I believe we can say that it is little mental health issues, including in the religious beliefs. So I don't believe this is a bad thing to say. I don't know what you think.
Well, on that aspect, I would agree with you to the point that you can show certain believers, in black and white, where the things in their holy book actually go against what they truly believe in their head. Okay, like I always say here in this country, okay, generally speaking, atheists know more about the Bible than most believers do, because they've actually read the Bible. Most Christians are much like what you said about Muslims. They have not read the Bible. They have not read the atrocious things that are attributed to the God of the Bible. So it's kind of like, I'm trying to think of the word, like they're putting blinders on. Okay, you can show them, like I said, very logically, hey, this is not why this is right, but they've got the blinders on. You're right. There is some kind of block in their brain, but I wouldn't say they're crazy. You know what I mean? I would say that
no. I don't say either.
Yeah.
They're not crazy.
Yeah. I mean, and the thing is like, we were just talking about this the other day on a stream. Like I've said, Islam's the second largest religion in the world. Christianity, there's 2.2 or 2.4 billion Christians in the world. If all of those Christians actually got their morality from the Bible, well, then the world would be a murderous hellscape all day, every day, every day of the year. I mean, because Christians say that they get their morality from God and from the Bible, and I'm sure Muslims say the same thing. They get theirs from the Quran, and they get it from Allah. But the fact of the matter is we are lucky in that the majority of humanity doesn't get their morality from these holy books. They come up with the ideas in their own mind, and we as a society establish what is moral. And that's why, that's another reason why it's so horrible what happens to these people in these Islamic countries, because humanity as a whole is against that type of behavior. Yeah. But then you have this compared to the world population, this small contingent of humanity that wants to do all these radicalized things and kill people for their beliefs and kill people for their sexual orientation. And it's a very large number of people in reality, but compared to 7.5 billion people on the planet, it's actually a minority of people that think that way. So
if someone wants to be a good human being, this man cannot get morality from the religious books. Nobody can be a good human being, really, like they claim, because of they have the morality from religion. This is not true, because when we read their books, it is against morality. It is no morality there. But like especially Islam, if Muslims truly practice Islam like everything, then we will not see any morality, actually.
Right.
Because what is the moral? Having sex slaves, is it morality?
Right.
Rape women, is it morality? So and stealing other people things and forcing them to pay you money so you will not kill them, is it morality?
I mean, I'm not sure what it says in the Quran, but I know in the Bible, and I know that in the Quran there is a very small portion of the Bible that is part of it, like the first 4 chapters of the Christian Bible are part of the Quran. Am I correct in that?
Many things. I not like exactly the same Bible, but they have some things exactly too.
I mean, like in the Bible, I know that like it tells you to kill adulterers, to if a child is unruly and disrespects you as a parent, you're to stone them to death. I mean, it's just it
doesn't write that like this. No. But this, I read it. I have read the Bible. And I remember what you're saying. And take them to outside the city and stone them if children disobey to parents. That you are saying. Yeah.
Can you imagine if that was an actual practice? It would be unbelievable. So let us get into talking about you specifically. So you did start your life out as a Muslim. Was the Muslim faith something you were born into?
I was unlucky, like many other children of Muslim parents. I was born in the middle of Turkey in a conservative Muslim family who are practicing Islamic attitudes like praying, fasting, and covering hair, all women with hijab. So in the from childhood I have been brainwashed like any other children of Muslim parents, because I cannot say Muslim children because they are not Muslim children, they are only children of Muslim parents, and they have been indoctrinated with the same lies as my parents indoctrinated by. They give you children a world view first. They say this world is a lie. This is only an exam, test. This world is a test, and the real world waiting us after life. And Allah is our God, and Quran and Prophet is last prophet. Yes, and you have to live after the rules of Prophet and Allah in all your life if you don't want to be burned in hell in eternity and many years. In all the time and tortured by Allah. So they say this in very early age. Islam demanding the parents to teach Islam to their children. So parents have a responsibility. And Muhammad saying even when children became 7 years old, you have to learn them to pray. And when they are 10 years old, and if they don't pray, you can smack them. You cannot smack them. So this is even stayed inside the brain of Muslims. So they don't smack only when we are not praying. They smack when we are not reading Quran too. So and they are blocked my free thinking from early age. When I ask questions to my mother, for example, about who is the father of Allah, I remember I was very young, like maybe 7 years old when I asked first question, because I was thinking, oh Allah, who created him? Mama, who is the Allah's father and mother? She said, shh, don't ask like this question. Don't ask like, nobody created him. You have to not think like this thing. I just think, okay, just block it. Might be questions, right? Later on, the same things. When I ask, for example, when I was young, in high school age, and then I was very busy with the meaning of life, you know. And then I learned that the sixth pillar of faith in Islam is to believe destiny. We call him qadar, destiny. And this means that Allah knows everything, and He writes down everything, what will happen to you, to me, everything. And He knows even if I will, like 7 years later, in this month, in this date, in this time, I will do some things, bad thing, like I will leave Islam, for example. He knows. But the problem is, you know, my mother had very difficult life. And when I look my mother's life, I saw that the unjust and inequality between women and men in the Muslim societies. So this bothered me. And then I asked one imam, why, if God knows everything, what is this theater play? You know, like it is a scenario. Why God just cannot stop everything and punish me if I will be when bad people and deserve hell? He can send me hell and the other to heaven. But why this all suffering in the world? If He know everything, why He let this go? And then you know what he said to Imam to me? Imam said, Cemal, this question is very difficult question to answer, and I have no answer. And this question you have to not ask so much and go deep inside. Then you can fall from Islam. Because only Allah knows what's mean to destiny and what's mean to free will. Then, you know, this, I think, what? And still I have to block this too and go and still one Muslim life. But I will come back to that again. But the problem is, you know, later I learned that these questions still today, if you ask one imam or religious people, they will in the end see that Allah knows. We don't know. This is the reason many Muslims leaving Islam, even in the 9th century. If you heard the Mutazili movement in Iraq, this is a sect like asked this question about destiny, and they've been called the non-Muslims and like apostates. And they have been executed after that. But you know, when I've been indoctrinated with everything in Islam, and I learned to read the Quran, alphabet, only alphabet, because I'm not Arabic. So we in Turkey we learning Quran alphabet to read the Quran, not to understand. Everyone. We just like if you learn now Greek alphabet or Jewish alphabet, you can read, right? Like Latin, you can read, but you don't understand. So right. We are reading and restating every day, 5 times a day, when we're praying, like a parrot, you know?
Right, yeah.
And this was the Islamic practice for us, and we pray and fast. But I was active in the my youth in an Islamic movement, Milli Görüş, we calling in Turkey. This is the Turkish Muslim Brotherhood, the same organization like in Egypt. So I was active there. I was a school leader, and I hated Jewish. I hated non-believers because all around me doing the same. You know, it is that everything what's happening in the Muslim world is because of the Jewish and the Christians and other than Muslims are behind, like this propaganda I have grown up with. But I was lucky enough. I was in Turkey, and in Turkey we had Islam critics, atheists, who have been murdered even, but they have said things and they have written books. It was there. So when we debate with secular people like non-Muslims actually, so they have forced me. They said to me, for example, I remember even in early age, that one guy much older than me, he said to me, Cemal, I said to him, Prophet Muhammad is the best example of humanity. He said, no, he's a murderer. He's a rapist. I said, how you can say like this thing? How you can insult the best man in the world? And he said, go and read your books. I read it. After that, I didn't just go and read my books. It stayed someplace there, It take time. Later, all doubts, all questions be too much. In the end, it forced me to read the Quran in Turkish language and read the many hadith books in my language. And then I realized that Islam is a big fat lie. And I have been cheated. My mother, my father, all the generations had been just cheated by a lie. So I cannot stand as Muslim, but I acted like Muslim. I stopped to go mosques and something like that, but I didn't say it, I'm an atheist or I'm not Muslim. I live it a long time like one closet atheist in the community. But another thing was very important in my life, so like became a reason I left Islam is the my observation over woman's life in Islam. This was one of the big doubts and question in my head, because my mother is one illiterate woman. She cannot read and she cannot write. When she was 9 years old, she started to use hijab, and she started to pray 5 times a day in all her life. And she hasn't any freedom like the modern Western women have freedom. She cannot just go out and drink one coffee with friends even. So and my father beat her many times. And I said, okay, this may be only in my family, this situation. But when I look to the other woman's life, like in my family woman, and when I look to the in the country generally, how Muslim women have, and how is the lack of equality in the country, then I start to think: is it Turkish culture, or is it something with other things to do, this issue about women? And I realized that other Muslim countries like Somalia, like Saudi Arabia, Iran, women have more or less same situation. And then later I realized that this is not Turkish culture or Somali's culture or Arabic culture which oppressing women. This is a common thing. What they have common? This is Islamic culture. And this was also one of the reasons that I realized that Islam cannot be from a creator of world, because totally unjust against women. So I left Islam and I became an atheist in Turkey. Then I lived life and not practicing Muslim. But when I come to Norway, then after some year, I start to see how much immigration we have from Muslim countries, and how is this impact society with the religious people, because Western countries are a little bit, I can say, ignorant about the situation in these countries, and they have cultural relativism. So they let Islamists get much more and more power in the West. And this said me, oh no, I look to debates on TV, Imam telling lies to politicians. And I look to newspaper, some religious Muslim paper writing chronicles and lying to Norway. Then I said, here I have to do something. It's my solidarity, responsibility. I love Norway. I'm a Norwegian today, and I have to say out, because I live one very good atheist life in Norway. If I could continue to live my life freely, but when I see the wrong development happening, that religious Muslim people like Islamists are getting more power, and they are and they are lying, and they want more rights, which is not compatible with our values in Norway. Like child hijab. You know why child will have hijab? 7 years old, 6 years old girl. You cannot say this is her choice.
Right.
Even mother of this child doesn't know why she is wearing hijab. Where is the debate of hijab? Like these things forced me to start an organization. And then I looked to my Muslim world, how ex-Muslims have, how big problem we have with blasphemy and apostasy. I start to think that, yes, I have to start one ex-Muslim organization and give my contribution to that I call the age of enlightenment in Islam. Because now it started with ex-Muslims movement about 10 years ago. So it is continuing. Everybody who contributes our cause, really, they have to know that they contributing to humanity. Because we are against dogmas, we want just that people will be free. They can believe whatever they want, but they have to stop forcing even their children to
right. I mean,
like that.
I mean, and that's something that you and I have in common, and a lot of atheists that I know say that religion, if a child decides later on down the road that they want to be a certain religion, that's all well and good. But to thrust these ideas upon them when their brains are still forming and they're not, making any other decisions for themselves, that it's kind of unfair. I mean, we should. I don't know if you can ever make it a law or anything, but I mean, we shouldn't be bringing heavy ideas like that to children until they're of a certain age.
We have to stop telling them things on which we have no proof that this is true. Right. We are teaching them lies.
Right. Yeah, I mean, and at the same time, you were introducing children to religion. We're also telling them that there's things like Santa Claus and the Easter Bunny, and it's just, yeah, because that's where you get them. That's where the indoctrination, because you're a sponge when you're a child. They say that when you're a child, that's the best time to learn things like languages and and what have you, because you just can naturally do it. So if you pound this indoctrination of religion into a child, it's almost a form of abuse in my mind.
Yeah, I agree. Because I believe that religious teachings have to go inside the history class, not the religious class. It have to be like historia teaching.
Right.
But when you teach this very little kids, even hell and heaven, this makes something with these children, because then they get one world view that very not expanded. This like very small view of life they are getting in very early age, and this is not good thing. Even just to tell them that hell exists and heaven exists. Have you proof? No, but you're teaching your children. Why? But the worst thing, they are even like Muslims and Jewish people, they are circumcising, ritual circumcising of boys and in some Muslims girls. And this is allowed. For example, not the FGM, but circumcision of boys is allowed in the West. Why?
Right. Yeah,
as long as it's not medical need, like medically, like you have to do in surgery because of something's wrong with the health, then it's okay. But ritual circumcision of boys, allowing the ritual circumcision of boys is a really shame for Western countries. How? I cannot believe why they are allowing that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a religious practice that became mainstream. I mean, I was circumcised when I was born because that was just the norm. Everybody did it. It wasn't even, at that time, it wasn't even that my parents were overly religious or anything. They were the type of Christians that went to church on Easter and Christmas and, holidays like that. But it's almost as if the hospitals themselves were pushing the circumcision when all it actually was a religious practice.
A lot of Muslims coming with this argument when we are discussing about circumcision. Then they say, look at America. Many people are circumcised there. But this is totally different. These have totally different reasons. We are talking about ritual circumcision of boys. And this is really, this is a mutilation. Nobody asked me, do you want to be circumcised? I'm circumcised, but I'm not a Muslim today. And I'm not a Jew. Why I'm sealed with their label, seal? Like I want my, like if I say I want my back, what's the name?
Foreskin.
Foreskin back. Who will help? Example, I just want to make like provocation against the states. Sometimes I think I have to talk with one lawyer and just to stop this stupid thing in Norway. So maybe open one case against government.
So you had said a few moments ago that you feel as if this is like a time of enlightenment. More people, finding out the mistruths of Islam. Do you credit the advent of social media over the last couple of decades?
Of course. Because of all these years, without social media and without the power of internet, it was very difficult for people who live in the Muslim countries to speak their mind or challenge their religion. It was very difficult. But after the technology, like the modern days now, with social media, Wikipedia, with YouTube, it did something. And this is our weapon. This is our. They cannot stop us anymore. They cannot stop us. We are many with like anonymous names, without showing face. Even in the Muslim countries, like in Saudi Arabia, in Turkey, in Pakistan, many people, ex-Muslim activists, now online, and they are exposing Islam, and they are creating critical thinking and doubt in Islam. So we are getting a lot of message from young people, even in Norway, that they are ex-Muslim, but they cannot show themselves up in public, but they can meet with us secretly if we promise that we will hold them anonymous. This is a good thing. It's happening something, and without social media, it haven't be easier for us. But now the biggest problem that many ex-Muslim activists getting banned from many social media platforms like Facebook, Twitter, often when they are criticizing Islam, and this is another issue we are fighting with. So we cannot lose online activism, because this is the only way to make enlightenment. Also, I call this the age of enlightenment in Islam. It started because of we are many thinkers, many activists today with Muslim background who left Islam, who identify themselves openly atheist, and they are not believing any creator. This is a wonderful thing, because we haven't had this before. This is a new thing, and this making progress and changes.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where it grows over time. Like people say, like you were talking about a while back, people say, why do you identify as ex-Muslim, or why do you identify as, a non-believer? If you don't believe anymore, why are you talking about all this? Well, we're talking about it because there are many other people out there that I know feel the same way I do, but they're in fear of letting it be known that they feel that way, or maybe they're on the fence, they're questioning their faith. And that brings me to a question I try and ask everybody we have on is, can you point to a moment in your past where it was you realized in your mind, wow, I don't believe in God anymore? Or was it something that just happened gradually and you didn't even really perceive it happening?
I can say it's happened gradually. This happened to me. But like I said, the biggest thing happened that this I tell it before about what's the meaning of life if God knows everything. And when Imam even couldn't understand, I couldn't answer and say that he don't know, Allah know, and you have to don't ask this question, it's not good. And when I look to the Quran, and Quran says the same, don't ask if you don't know things. Like the very stupid verse. Don't ask question if you don't know the answer. You can ask only when revelation is happening to Muhammad. We are not living there. How we will ask? This is the like Achilles, or it's in English, I don't know, point for me that there something's happened really to me, because I realized that this Imam is not just an ignorant who answered like this answer. He answered actually from Islamic perspective, because they don't have answer, and it's contradicting totally with what Allah says and what we answer to. So this was, I think, one of the highest reason which changed gradually everything.
Well, and we get the same thing, here in the United States, as former Christians. When we were Christians, if we would ask questions, then we would get like you were saying, a non-answer. And the cliche phrase over here is like, they would say, God operates in mysterious ways, quote, quote, mysterious ways, like that's like the catch-all answer for, well, why would God do this or do that? Well, we're too lowly to understand his ways, his reasoning, we just have to trust in him, like, come on, like that's not critical thinking.
When they have no answer, then they say this, and this in Islam too, exactly the same. And if you look even Islam question and answers web page on internet, there are very big internet page actually, and a lot of Muslims asking questions in the last 20 years. All things is there. In every answer you see, they try their best to answer things, and the end Allah knows best. So I can be wrong. Allah knows best. They don't have answer even to the easy questions. And then they say Allah works in mysterious way, the same way. If you prove them that, and if you put them in corner, when they have no answer, Allah knows best. Even in Quran, Allah says clearly that Quran is a very clear book, and everyone, it's no doubt in it, no controversy in it, nothing. It's very clear. But the same verse, after same verse, it is a verse starting with Elif, Lam, Mim. Even in English and Turkish or whichever language you translate it, they write the same thing, Elif, Lam, Mim. Because they cannot translate. They don't know the meaning. Can you believe that? They don't know the meaning of the verse. How you can say this is a clear book? And when you ask the imams and the scholars, they say Allah knows best. We don't know.
Yeah.
What's the meaning of these words?
Well, and there's just so many. I don't know how it is in the Quran. I mean, I can imagine, but like when it comes to the Bible, there are so many contradictions in the Bible, and so many things that happen in the Bible that contradict what God is supposed to be. Now, I don't know, in the Quran, is there the story of the Great Flood?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
So here is God who supposedly loves all of us, but he got mad at humanity, so he drowned everybody. And now what that means is that he also drowned all the innocent children and babies who didn't know that they had done anything wrong, or didn't know what was going on. And when you try and ask somebody about that, well, then that's when you get that murky answer of, well, God knows best. He had his reasons. And they try and say that, because he's God, it's a moral thing. I just watched a debate in the last week, and I will give the gentleman credit, the Christian on the Christian panel in this debate. He actually came out when he was pointedly asked, is it moral to drown a baby? And he answered, if God did it, yes, it's moral. Which, I mean, I can't imagine, like, the level of indoctrination your mind
has. This is what religion makes to people, how they change people's mentality totally. This like in Quran too. Quran writing in, like, for example, Lut, one tribe. There were a lot of gay people, and God punished them and destroyed everyone. Only one, he saved it because he is the prophet. Children too, everyone, like Noah's too. But how stupid. I mean, I have to say stupid, because when you think that people have to ask question, why really this God, Abrahamic God, appears only in one small place, like in the Middle East, in 3 different times, and even punishes a lot of people and making world new, don't know anything about the other sides. Only there. This is a question they have to answer. This God is not a God for everyone. This has to be a God for a little community, Jewish community, or Arabic tribe in Mecca. So a lot of things people can discuss with religious people, but when you ask like these questions, like what's wrong with that? He did that. He just come with revelation there. But why? What about other people who live within many thousand years and died without knowing the God or prophet or books? A lot of things. I think people have to open their mind and think little bit. It's not occur too much thinking. Little bit.
Yeah, I mean, and it's like you touched on it earlier, because there's many very intelligent humans among us that believe in God, and you just wonder what that blockage is in their mind that they won't see past it. Because the fact of the matter is, you say, well, how come everybody doesn't know about this Abrahamic God? Well, I mean, it's obvious when you look at the Abrahamic traditions and you look at other religious traditions around the world. The reason that there's not one that everybody knows about is because they're products of the human mind. It's something that humans made up, and I've said for years that it's something that they made up because we are distinct in the animal world in that we are aware of our own mortality. And for humans to reconcile that idea that, I'm a sentient being, I'm a thinking being, and I'm going to end someday and wither and die just like a dandelion, people can't deal with that. So that's why religion came about. I say that God is not a word. God is an acronym where each letter stands for a word, and God stands for getting over dying.
Right.
So,
and if we stop thinking that we are the center of universe, then we will not be religious. Because this is the reason behind every religious people believe that we human beings are the center, the reason of universe. We are not. We are not the center point of the universe. We are nothing. We are dust. But if you look at all religions, Abrahamic religions, actually coming from if we read the history, the Sumerians, Sumers, Babylon.
Right.
Yeah. Jewish laws, everything is copy paste from old religions, from Egypt, from Babylon. This is that. So then they just evolved in the time and get different names and get in other liars like prophets and find out. This is Because, like Christopher Hitchens say, people's first attempt to know or create philosophy or medicine or whatever. Our first attempt, this is religion, to understand things around us, and this is the first and worst attempt.
Right. I mean, and that's another thing too, is that just look over, the millennia of time before us, and all the things, all the phenomenon that happened in the world that we attributed to God. And then as science found out, well, no, this is what causes that. And this is what causes the tides. And this is what causes thunder and lightning, and all these things that we once thought were products of God. And now we know better.
We haven't answered to things, a lot of things. Then we blame it one imaginary thing, blame it to God, because we didn't have answers.
Yep.
Many thousand years we believe it that earthquake is because of it's a punishment. We didn't have answer, but today science showing us answer. But then we find new verses in books that says, yeah, this is true, because like apologists find out every in Islam, apologists find answer to every scientific things today. If you find life in Mars today, Muslims will claim that yes, it is written in Quran.
Yeah. So take a few moments and or as long as you want, and tell us about your organization, Ex-Muslims of Norway.
Yeah, we have started an organization in 2016. I had one Iraqi writer. He have passed away. He's not living today. And one Iranian writer, ex-Muslim woman, and we had one Pakistani blogger. We started with, and later, we get a lot of members in Norway, and our Facebook page now followed by 30,000 people.
Oh wow!
Yes, and so we are doing good job. That we are doing. We are focusing first of all that we will spread information about theology, errors in Islam, and absurdities in Islam to make awareness that it is not that what Muslims believe. Islam is not just that. Islam is much more than what normal moderate Muslims are believing. So we are making seminars. We are inviting people from all around the world. We did now our 12th seminar until coronavirus epidemic. So we invited last time Yasmin Mohammed from Canada. She's in our list, but we have to cancel it because of the virus. So we are doing seminars, and we are even translating books in PDF form in Punjab language or Urdu, Pakistani language, free books, old books which we have allowed to translate without any problems, and spreading this on internet. So enlightenment work, information work, and blasphemy, what we are doing. And we are building a sport network for ex-Muslims in Norway. So we are meeting with ex-Muslims and helping them and encouraging them. This is what we are doing. So, but the other side, we have a lot of people are supporting us, ethnically Norwegian people too. But the other side, we have people who are against us. Not just Islamists, but like I mentioned earlier, especially the regressive leftists, trying to discredit our work. They are trying to discredit us and making us invisible, like we are not existing. So it is a hard fight to even get like what how I can say like we are here. They have to accept us. We are a voice, and we are many people, and we are not racist, and we are not haters. I don't know what's the problem. What's the big deal to understand that? Because we have published a lot of posts publishing on Facebook. If you go our Facebook page, you will see that from what Imam says videos to Quran verses, what Muhammad says, and news. And same in our YouTube channel and in Instagram, for example. But nothing there is hateful against people, Muslims, like as human beings, as our brother and sisters. But still, we have a struggle in Norway with especially regressive leftists and Islamists. So, but it is. We knew it in the start even, so it's okay. We are continuing.
And I've noticed on Twitter, just the hate and the vitriol that ex-Muslims get from some Muslims. I mean, and it seems like Twitter doesn't do a lot. You were talking about how some of the ex-Muslim voices get blocked on Twitter, or get timed out for a few days or something like that. But I mean, I've seen straight up Muslim people going after ex-Muslims and straight up threatening their lives, and they don't get removed from the platform. So it's just unbelievable that it seems like they placate the religious people more than and serve towards them more than the unreligious people.
Right.
YouTube even too. The channels on YouTube don't get the same kind of play that.
Yeah, the tragic comic is we are not just only threatening by Islamists, and they do that. We have get threat from them, but even from sometimes Antifa people. Can you believe that?
Yeah,
they are this is very crazy. But in the other side, all the when we are sharing on social media like Facebook or Twitter, when we are sharing what Prophet Muhammad says about how you will kill gays, example.
Right.
Then suddenly on our Facebook page, Facebook sending us like a warning and removing the post, and they say this is hateful. But this
right,
is
you're just reporting. You're reporting on the hate speech of others.
Yes, and this
you're getting it as if you are spreading hate speech.
Right.
Yeah, and the same thing happens on YouTube. Matter of fact, Nakasuchi, the gentleman that was here at the beginning of the stream to set things up for us, his channel got a strike because he was talking about an extremist religious organization here in the country that was calling for the killing of gays and horrible things like that. And his channel got the strike because he was talking about that or showing these other hateful people.
Yes, and exactly the same happened to us too. We have shared one video clip from United States, one imam saying how gays have to be punished in Islamic countries. And they have removed the video, and we get warning, and they say that if you share like these things in the future, we will close your page permanently. Because after I have get many times banned from Facebook, 30 days. Many times. I don't understand really. I don't know. When Muslims recite their Quran in mosque every day, this is freedom of religion. When we say what they reciting in public, this is hate speech. I don't understand.
Yeah, it's crazy. All right, so and just so everybody in the audience knows, all the different things that Cemal just talked about, the Instagram, the Facebook, his YouTube channel, all those links are in the description. Please go over and give his channel a sub and check out his Instagram and Facebook. Are you on Facebook? Are you at the limit for friends already? I know you're only allowed to have like 5,000, aren't you?
I have many friends request. In the last time I haven't go and look them because it is a lot of people, but I will do that. I will go because I'm little be careful because my page is open for everyone. But when I accepting friends request, then I have to go and check their pages first. So it took time. But I can send to my Facebook page too, my profile. So it's okay. The people can send.
And let me suggest to everybody too, like we've been talking about, look into this for yourselves. Go online and find out about all the things that Cemal's been telling us about. And his Facebook page, his YouTube channel are good resources for that because that's the type of things they talk about.
Especially, especially if people are very interested with memes. We are making a lot of memes and very funny exposing memes. Both in Instagram and Facebook, they can find it.
Well, and it's a funny thing about memes is they can be entertaining, but they also, through entertainment, can make a very good point. As a matter of fact, one of my favorite YouTubers, and I don't know if you ever heard of her, Shannon Q. She's a Canadian atheist, and she's on social media a lot on Twitter and that. And she is like the best person I know at using sarcasm to make a serious point. And that's kind of what some of these memes do. They're kind of humorous and entertaining, but there's some of them have some very big meaning behind them.
I believe memes have more power than 1 hour speech.
Right? Yeah, because a picture paints 1,000 words. I don't know if you ever heard that. That's an old song from over here in the United States. A picture paints 1,000 words. So, all right. I want to thank everybody who joined us today. Again, all of Cemal's links are in the video description. Thank you so much for being here today. Hi, Harry, Basement Dweller. I noticed my friend Maynard Staves was here. Native Atheist, thank you so much for coming by. We're here every Sunday at 11 a.m. With a different guest, and we try and focus on ex-Muslims, but we do talk to apostates of all religions. So if you want to be on the show, DM me or Faye on Twitter, or leave a comment down below, and we will reach out to you. Currently, I have all the way through to the last Sunday in September booked. Still looking for someone for then and beyond in October. But thank you so much for being here. These type of stories, like the one we heard today from Cemal, very important to hear, and very important to realize that as much as we like to think we're persecuted by being ex-Christians, there are people all throughout the world that are suffering, much worse at the hands of Muslim extremists. We don't know how lucky we have it in the West, but we're one world. So those are our fellow human beings. We have to stand with people like Cemal and the other organizations that are trying to make this a thing of the past. And if we all work together, if we all pitch in, then hopefully, we can make the whole world like it is here on the Apostate Alliance, where you can be free to not believe. Thank you, folks.